Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. Going to have a look at the weather for next week, 10 days for today's video. Date will take us to the 20th of February, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. Very much relic of the weeks. We'll have a look at CFSV2 for March at the end of the video, and I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video today was a 6 AM upload, and we'll also release January Friday as well. Please check out those two videos if you'd like to do that. Like, share, and subscribe on the video. Thank you so very much, everybody. That'll be live streaming after 10 o'clock tonight, around 10:30. Have our Friday night live stream. And we'll be bringing you the GFS 18th, aka the pub run. Goodness gracious me. I don't know. Right, let's start off. Of course, we've got to in the strat, so temperatures are beginning to lift back up at 10 HPA. There we go, the black line shows where we've been, where we currently are. The temperature at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over North Pole is beginning to tick back up from where it was yesterday, which was very close to the long-term average. It's now going a little bit warmer than average, and that black line should carry on moving up over the coming few days. The little bit low down 30 HPA level shows that, again, black line is starting to lift up there as well, but it's still a little bit colder than average. We're expecting a sudden stratospheric warming to take place next week, sudden stratospheric warming event. And this is all the latest. So, two GFS runs to begin with. This is the midnight run of the GFS. So, let's see what's going on. Warming will gather pace over the next couple of days over Siberia and start to move into the North Pole for the early part of next week. A significant warming of the stratosphere taking place there should be enough to send zonal winds into reverse through the early to middle part of next week. Displacement event of the polar vortex, not split, displacement of the polar vortex, again out in toward the North Atlantic and into all parts of Europe, going into the extended range with the GFS midnight run. Another warming taking place there around the 22nd, 23rd of February. And that one also looking quite impactful as well. Hold on. Excuse me. Right, go for a 6 then. Looks like this. All much of a much. This is going to be in the next couple of days. That warming really gets going over Siberia. And again, early part of next week sees that major warming of the stratosphere from Siberia in towards the North Pole. Very significant warming should send the wind into reverse. I think almost certainly will send winds into reverse next week, and we keep that warming going, or at a reduced level, of course, as we get towards around a week out. And then another warming of the stratosphere here on GFS 6Z. Again, over Siberia. Quite unusual to see so many repeated warmings over Siberia. And again, that one's sort of pushing into the pole. Just again, reinforcing the reversal of zonal winds. Still no split of the PV. That remains the one thing that we're that we're missing. Despite all of these warmings, it is only a displacement event rather than a split of the PV. The reason for that is that we're not getting a secondary warming on the southern side. So if we could get another warming at around this point, let's say around there, 21st of February. If we get another warming occurring over America and in the Atlantic, then that will combine with this warming here, and we'd split it. We'd be able to split the vortex via the warming there going in that direction, and the warming which isn't there, but if it was there, the warming there going in that direction, that would be enough to split the vortex into two. So it's one thing we're missing with this. It is going to be a displacement event rather than a split of the polar vortex up to 26th of February. Maybe it will split at some point, but up to 26th of February, no sign of split of the PV. Visualweathercool.com showing that 100% all GFS ensemble members, which are these green lines here, are sending the zonal wind into reverse next week. So, got 100% of GFS ensemble members go for reversal zonal winds next week. And then, that second warming around the 22nd, 23rd of February, some of the ensemble members are going down to a record-breaking reversal of zonal winds with that second warming. So the first warming will send the zonal wind into reverse through the middle part of next week. 100% what GFS ensemble members are doing that. And then the following warming, though, that occurs, around the 22nd, 23rd of February, that might send the zonal wind into a record-breaking reversal. For the time of year, for that particular time of year, some of the GFS ensemble members are going down to near record levels. Where we are right now, by the way, with the zonal wind is just here. So they're going to be getting a bit of a crash over the next few days. ECM data from the University of Berlin looks like this. So this is the 10 HPA forecast for 120 hours. It could be 14 of February. See the warming there moving into the pole at that point. So still just about positive on Tuesday with the zonal wind at 2.8 ms. Still just about positive with the zonal wind. But if we go out to 168 hours, then you can see that the zonal wind has gone negative. This is the 16th of February, so next Thursday. Then we're down to minus 3.3 ms. That, again, tells us that we are going to be, having a genuine sudden stratospheric warming here. The gold standard for, being able to say that you have had a sudden stratospheric warming is to send the zonal wind into reverse at 10 HPA, 60 degrees north. And that carries on, actually, to 192 hours, minus 3.8 ms, and then to 216 hours, minus 6.4 ms, and finally 240 hour daytime, minus 6.8 ms. So several days we're going to have the zonal wind in reverse, starting from around Wednesday next week, and, going on beyond that. And then, of course, we get that second warming that the GFS was showing around the 22nd, 23rd of February. That will just reinforce the negativity of the zonal wind. We're watching to see whether this moves down to 30 HPA, propagates down toward the troposphere. This is the 30 HPA temperature forecast for 168 hours. Remember, this is closer to the troposphere compared to 10 HPA. So 168 hours, 16th of February, it's looking quite cold still at that point, and the zonal wind is at plus 6.5 ms. But by the time we get through 240 hours, not a reversal of zonal winds, but a weakening is taking place there. We've gone from plus 6 to plus 2.4 ms. So, certainly indicating that by the time we get through to the 19th of February, a weakening of zonal winds taking place at 38 Bay. Whether we'll see that going negative with the forecast, we'll keep a very close eye on it, and if we do, honestly, we'll bring you that data. So it's always interesting to look at 30 HPA because it's that little bit closer to the troposphere. We got the extended ECM run in last night, so just to bring you up to date with that for the next 6 weeks. This is the temperature anomaly for week 1, which is next week, 13th February. You see a big warming of the stratosphere obviously taking place there. We can't necessarily, from the anomaly, so these are anomalies to average, so for the anomaly to average, we can't necessarily say that's a sudden stratospheric warming. However, we know from other data that that is, in fact, indeed, a sudden stratospheric warming there for week 1. Week 2, again, very warm stratospheric temperature anomaly there. Week 3, it's becomes more focused towards Scandinavia, interestingly. That's the 27th of February to the 6th of March. Week 4 begins to fade it out. Can't keep those temperatures in the stratosphere high for that long. And weeks 5 and 6, start to see the temperature anomaly dropping and becomes colder, especially over on the Pacific side of the North Pole. So obviously there's a return there to colder temperatures as we go through March. That's the 20th, 27th of March, so we're nearly at the end of the PV season by that point in any case. The extended ECMWF is forecasting a reversal of zonal winds. This was widely published on the social media channels last night, so going to go underneath that this line I'm drawing here at 0, and you can see very clearly that the ECM extended model is sending the zonal wind into reverse through the course of next week. We're starting off up here, so this is a big drop in the zonal wind, starting there, and sort of by next next Thursday-ish, we're going to be around -10 to -15, if that is right, with the zonal winds. So again, very significant weakening of the zonal winds, and then staying pretty weak into the early part of March, actually. So keeping the zonal wind into reverse for quite some time, you know, quite a while. Probably around a couple of weeks, the zonal wind is in reverse and gradually lifting back up into positivity later on in March. But of course, by that point, we're coming towards the end of PB season, and we'll be waiting to see by then what's going on in the troposphere after this sudden stratospheric warming. So all very interesting. We will be documenting this, of course, in the videos over the next few days as we count down to, you know, a pretty significant sudden stratospheric warming. Central England temperature is in from the UK Met. We're sitting now at 5.3. That's 1.5 degrees above average. That's provisional to the 9th of February. I'll probably tick down a little bit more because it was quite cold last night. But then I think that will start moving up again over the next few days. So by this time next week, that will probably be in the 6s. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles next couple of weeks. So at Liverpool today, red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average. For Liverpool, we're starting off above average with the upper air temperatures at the moment. You say above average as well, you know, for the next week, 10 days, which possibly signs of a little bit of a colder hint, you know, right at the very end of the ensemble graph from around the 24th, 26th of February. There are several GFS ensemble members that are looking cold at that point. Of course, we can't discount the milder ensemble members up here, but possibly a few hints there that by the end of February things are getting colder. But certainly for the next, that's unreliable though, remember. For the next sort of week to 10 days anyway, the upper air temperatures are solidly above average. And very dry as well. The next week is going to be virtually completely dry. And then after that, you know, only very, very modest amounts of precipitation spikes. This is going to be a really dry February, I think. It's going to be an exceptionally dry February. Temperature anomalies from the 10th to the 18th of February are above average. Precipitation anomalies from the 10th to the 18th of February are going to be drier than normal. Latest info from Matt from earth.nullschool.net shows that got high pressure sitting to our south, and we're drawing in like a west-southwesterly wind across the country. Right, let's start going with chart data then. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. UK Met Eurorun. First of all, high pressure dominates weather on Monday. And basically through next week, high pressure will be in control of weather in the south. We'll be a little bit more unsettled in the north. We are bringing in mild west-southwesterly winds through next week, so temperatures will be mild, you know, but it's going to be mostly dry. Down in the south, a little bit more unsettled up in the north. Icon looks like that again. High pressure dominating the weather through next week for the south, being lots of dry weather there. Well, it's a little bit more unsettled further north. And that's where we might get some shade rain, but very dry conditions continue down in the south and generally mild. GFS midnight run, again, is much of a muchness. Low pressure tries getting there through the middle part of next week, and that does sort of reposition the high. So the GFS might turn a little bit colder later next week from frost and fog once this weather system pushes through. So we've got a weather system just here, there's a low just there, there'll be a cold front with that. Behind that, as that pushes through, the high pressure sort of intensifies again, you know, the high pressure comes back, so at that point you see the high pressure is starting to reach back in behind, like the chart which is through there, the high pressure reaching back in, and that's a colder ridge. So the GFS might get us back to frost and fog by the end of next week under that area of high pressure. But yeah, the main thing is again very anti-cyclonic with the GFS midnight run, and even into the extended range really high pressure is never that far away. Just maybe a hint that by the very end 26th February, high pressure begin to pull away from us, starting to possibly allow something a little bit colder to move in from the north. The GFS 6 says it's all much of a muchness, really. High pressure dominating weather, especially for the south. In the next week, 10 days, it really is an anti-cyclonic outlook. Always a little bit more unsettled further north, but we're basically high and dry right the way through to the end of the run, which gets to 26th February, by which time it begins to turn much colder across northern parts of Europe with these northern winds. We're on the periphery of that with this ridge of high pressure. Is that high pressure about to start going north? You'll notice something lurking up here. So maybe that's starting to set up a colder pattern right for the end of the month and into the beginning of March. That's the sort of time frame we're looking at to see a tropospheric response, or start seeing a tropospheric response to the sudden stratospheric warming. If you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. Don't forget to drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends and family about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. We need to put around 85 subscribers to get ourselves to 15.6k. So if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely great. GM, again, with high pressure dominating the weather. Maybe take a little bit through GoPro next week. Maybe a little bit more instead with GM later next week. That low could possibly bring some rain even down into the south. But overall, high pressure is in control. Continue to bring lots of dry weather for the south. Always a little bit more unsettled very further north. And then the ECMWF and mild, and the ECMWF looks like that. Again, around Wednesday, Thursday, we push a trough through that might bring some rain down into the south. Most of it will be up in the north. And then beyond that, high pressure is just more or less in control of weather, sitting just to our west and to our southwest. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. Again, the emphasis really is on dry weather. Until the middle of next week, we're going to get this showery band of rain pushing out. Might bring the first rain of the month into southern counties. That's the 16th of February. And, for large parts of southern East England, that'll probably be the first rain of the month. If it comes off, it might be further north in the end. And then we're back into a lot of dry weather again, really. Maybe turning a bit more showery by daytime. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today from the Icelandic Met Office for daytime. Gets us to the 20th of February. 22 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure reaching in from the west. That will be bringing lots of dry weather and pretty mild too. 14 with high pressure again over and to west of the country, remaining dry, quite mild. 9 with high pressure again, it's reaching through the country. That includes the operational run. 6, a little bit more unsettled, dropping a trough of low pressure down the east side of the country, pulling the high pressure out into the Atlantic. That's the most unsettled and the coldest option, with winds starting to go into the northwest with that. And then in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. We'll go to the 25th of February, 24 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure just to our west, low pressure is to our east and northeast, and we're probably bringing in a cooler northwesterly wind into that area of high pressure. It would be, though, mostly dry. 14 with low pressure across northern and western Europe. High pressure pulled a long way away from us. That's much more unsettled and colder on the cold side of the jet stream there. So that's turning colder and more unsettled there into the last week of February, or last days of February as it's shorter month. And then 13 members of the ECM, ensemble taking high pressure towards Iceland. That's mostly dry, but could be starting to pull the wind into the east. Again, a few hints, like in 2 weeks' time, there might be change, something a bit colder, but before then, the next week, 10 days, looks very mild a lot of the time, and largely dry. GFS features finally for March. This was latest 700 millibar height anomaly forecast, and if this is right, we could be in for quite a cold March. A lot of blocking to the north, so extensive northern blocking, high latitude blocking there. Greenland, Iceland, going over towards Scandinavia, low pressure down towards Spain. Winds will be in from the east with that, and I can't see much reason why that would be a cold and wintry month. Now, the model is actually managing to forecast, as it always does, slightly milder than average temperatures. I'm very, very dubious about that, given the 700 millibar height anomaly that you see there. I can't see any reason at all why that wouldn't be you know, why that wouldn't be a cold month. You will think that the easterlies would be coming in from, you know, proper easterlies with this. Though, you know, I think that's a cold month. I think that's cold March, even if the model doesn't know it. And precipitation-wise, a rather dry month expected as well, as always the case with northern blocking. That would undoubtedly be in response to the sudden stratospheric warming. We shall see. If you enjoyed the video, please do you like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. Why not drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos, and don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much everybody for doing this for us. Right, just to tell you what's coming up tomorrow. We're going to have a 6 AM upload. We'll have the ECMWF 42-day / 6 weeks look for UK and Ireland weekend forecast and 10 to 14 day as well. On Sunday, we're going to be 6 AM upload. We'll have a 6 spring update and a 10 to 14 day. We're keeping you up to date through the weekend on all of these stratospheric developments. And don't forget, we're live streaming after 10 o'clock tonight, around 10:30. We'll have our final live stream. And we'll be live streaming for GFS 18Z, aka for Pub Run. So I shall see you live for that. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon / evening. And for this video, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.